Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the campus of Algona High School in North Central Conference Volleyball. Tonight, we'd like to welcome the players, coaches, and fans from Fort Dodge, St. Edmond, and your Algona Bulldogs. Before we meet the teams tonight, it's been designated as Senior Night. Let's meet the Algona Volleyball Seniors. Delaney Anderson. Alexa Chase. Emma Elsbecker.
Hello? Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Ellie Lawachi. And Olivia Roslow. Ladies and gentlemen, please see the insert in the program for their individual senior bios. We'd like to thank these girls for their hard work and dedication to the volleyball program throughout their volleyball careers. Let's give them a big Bulldog round of applause. Let's meet the teams. For the St. Edmond Gales, number 1, Maya McLean. Number 3, Claire Conrad. Number 4, Cindy Ingalls. Number 5, Aaliyah Anderson. Number 6, Emma Alstott. Number 7, Casey Kruthoff. Number 8, Leah Neverman. Number 10, Alexis Miracle. Number 12, Kirsten Clark. And number 14, Allison Neeland. The Gales are head coached by Dee Huss and assisted by Josephine Allstott. Now for your Algona Bulldogs. Number 1, Taya Ludwig. Number 2, Lily Elsbecker. Number 3, Lillian Etherington. Number 4, Tora Solak. Number 6, Alexa Chase. Number 7, Ellie Lawachi. Number 8, Delaney Anderson. Number 12, Emma Elsbecker. Number 15, Maddie Hilbert. Number 16, Callie Carroll. Number 15, Maddie Hilbert. Number 18, Aaliyah Perry. And number 17, Olivia Roslow. The Bulldogs are head coached by Samantha Gotti, assisted by Molly Henderson and Kelly Menny. Would everyone please rise for the playing of our national anthem?
go ahead and get things early, just a couple minutes ahead of schedule, which is absolutely just fine with me here, as you know, we're all set and ready to go as far as some great volleyball action. Of course, it's wrapping up the regular end of the season, so it's always nice and exciting to see how everything is going to end up. As we kind of wait for the everybody to kind of get that out there on the floor, see who exactly is going to be starting and whatnot. Looks like for Algona, starting lineup is going to be, I see Alexa Chase, I see Emma Elsbecker, Layla Perry, Tora Solbach, Delaney Anderson, and last person, Kaylee Carroll. Oh, they're making more substitutions. Olivia Rocheleau, she's going to go ahead and jump in there. This one I thought I had the lineups just perfect. So it's going to be Rocheleau and Rocheleau, Carroll, Chase. Oh, she's going to check out, and Perry's going to check back in. Trying to trick me up here way early on in this. Nope, now they're going to check out again. Okay. So Perry's going to check out, and Rocheleau is going to check back in. Okay. I think I got everything figured out. At least for now, till they juggle up their lines here again.
Fans, please watch out for volleyballs. If possible, please allow the players to retrieve them. If you do encounter a ball hit out of play, please return the ball to the roller to be sanitized. After touching the ball, please sanitize your hands. Thank you for help stopping the spread.
So it looks like Algona is going to start things out on serving, and back to serve is going to be Tora Solbach. 15 ace serves on the season, serving at about an 88% accuracy. If she's going to serve this one up, and it's going to be collected, goes off the hands of Leah Neverman, and an ace serve will go to Tora Solbach. Great way to start things out here at Algona tonight. They'll take a 1-0 lead here at set number 1. Solbach to start things up again, but she put just too much on that one. Goes over the head of Maya McLean, and it's going to be a serving error on Solbach to tie this back up at 1 again. Leah Neverman, she'll go back to serve now for the Gales. Serves this one up, and they're going to signal something here. Not sure what that was, but something happened on Algona's side, so point will go to the Gales. I think it was like a illegal formation or something. I'm not sure what is going on. Officials are trying to explain something. But so what had happened was on the serve, the officials had blew the whistle, and I'm
wrong server by the Gales, point Bulldogs.
Oh, okay. So apparently it was a wrong server for the Gales. Okay. So 2-1 now in favor of Algona. Back to serve will be Emma Elsbecker. She'll await confirmation. I think they're still trying to get everything justified as far as
Elsbecker to serve.
Everything's set up. So now that we're all good to go, Emma Elsbecker, she'll go back to serve. Up it goes. Collected by Neverman, set up and fired. That's going to go out and off the hands of Casey Kruthoff.
Point Bulldogs.
Bulldogs will take a 3-1 lead now. Elsbecker will go back to serve. Still kind of confused as to the whole wrong server situation, but I think we'll go ahead and just kind of dropped that. That's going to be picked up and set up to be shot over by Miracle, and that's going to get a successful block. This one off the hands of Alexa Chase, so Chase will pick up a great block there, makes it 4-1 for Algona. Elsbecker serves. That's going to be set up by Neverman. Now on over by McLean and shot over by Miracle. Back to Rochlow, to Solbach, fired, snuck it in the corner. That's a kill by Alexa Chase. Makes this 5-1 now. Bulldogs taking a good lead here in set number 1. Elsbecker continues to serve. Elsbecker picked up that time and set by Clark. Shot on over by Miracle, off the hands of Elsbecker to Solbach. Return fire by Etherington, picked up in the back. Tapped on over, but back to Elsbecker. To Solbach and tapped over. They're going to say a lift. No, a 2-hit. They're going to say 2-hit.
Gales.
Thought I saw a lift, but they're going to say 2-hit, which is fine.
Neverman to serve.
So it's going to be Neverman to serve. I think they figured out their whole serving situation. So Neverman to serve. Licks that one off the net.
Gales.
And it's going to be a point for the Gales. Makes this 5-3. Just barely snuck it off the edge of the net there. Neverman serves again. Licks it off the net again. Picked up and returned by Algona. And it's going to be a good random kill placement there. I don't think the Gales were quite ready for that return, as it'll now be 6-3 for Algona. Back to serve now, Olivia Rochlow. Picked up by McCain to Neverman and launched on over by Anderson. Back to Rochlow to Solbach. Perry with a tap. Picked up by Miracle, then to McLean. Launched on over by Clark to Solbach. Perry to set this one up. Out to Etherington, but back to Clark. Now it's set up and fired by Miracle to Elsbecker over to Solbach. Elsbecker returns that one by Anderson. Out to Clark. Fired and shot, but too much out of bounds there by Casey Kruthoff. Excellent volley going by both sides there. Makes it a 7-3 lead now for Algona. Rochlow continues to serve. Picked up by McCain to Miracle. Tapped on over, this time by Anderson to Elsbecker. Clark, Perry fires. That's great. Perry got some speed on that one. Tucked it into the far corner. Makes it 8-3 now in favor of Algona. Rochlow continues to serve. She'll fire this one up. Picked up that time by McLean. Then to Clark and on over for McLean to be picked up by Rochlow. Set up by Solbach and returned by Perry with a tap. Dig is unsuccessful. Kirsten Clark tried to get in there, so Perry will get a good tap kill and makes this 9-3. Rochlow serves this one up, picked up by McLean to be set up by Clark. Fired on over by Anderson. Block is good by Perry. And it's going to be an unsuccessful return on over, that time by McLean. 10-3 now in favor of the Bulldogs. Rochlow continues to serve. Great momentum by the Bulldogs here in set number 1. Shot on over and picked up that time by Anderson. Over to Clark. And returned by Neverman to Perry. Now to Solbach and tapped over. That time off the hands of Kaylee Carroll. Carroll will pick up the tap kill, makes it 11-3. Taking a good, stronger lead as we head deeper into set number 1. She'll go up again. This time back for McLean to Clark. Tapped on over, but picked up by Rochlow. Solbach to set things up and fired by Etherington. Outside the diving hands of McLean. And Etherington picks up the kill. The kill's going to be good, makes this 12-3. Rochlow serves this one over. Dug on in by Anderson. Picked up by Solbach. Perry, a little miscommunication there.
Point Gales.
I think she overjudged where the ball was going a little bit.
Eagles in the Gales lineup.
Small little mental mistake.
Miracle to serve.
Now to serve, Alexis Miracle. She'll serve this one over, and it's going to go right into the net. Serving error makes this 13-4.
Bulldog lineup.
We'll get a quick substitution in there. Ellie Lawaji, she's going to sub on in there for Kaylee Carroll. Lawaji now, she's going to go in there and serve. Lawaji serves a big one, and it's pretty close to staying in there, but it's going to be a serving error. And we're going to turn this one into a 13-5 game.
Krutov to serve.
Krutov now, she'll go back to serve. She'll launch this one on over. Just a bit too much. Rochlow stared that one down a lot. Turns this now 14-5.
Etherington to serve.
Back to serve, it'll be Lillian Etherington. Etherington, a huge windup, and it's going to be picked up that time by Kruthoff. Set up by Clark and tapped on over. Picked up by Rochlow to Perry. Launched over by Elsbecker, but the block is going to be unneeded as they're going to call 4 hits on the Bulldogs.
The Bulldog lineup, number 8.
Anderson will check in, and Etherington will check out for the Bulldogs.
Anderson to serve.
Anderson now to serve. As she'll serve this one into the net. So the Bulldogs will make a 15-6 lead.
Perry to serve.
Here in this game. Perry now to serve. Perry set up by Clark. Tapped on over that time by Ingles. Picked up and returned. Launched on over into the net.
Point.
That one goes in there by Emma Elsbecker. Point will go to the Gales on that one.
McLean to serve.
McLean to serve now for the Gales. Barely tips the net, but tried to be picked up that time by Anderson. Going to be an ace serve, 15-8 now for the Bulldogs still on top here. Back to serve Maya McLean, as I think they're waiting on something. So the official closest to me has been picking up some interesting stuff. I'm not sure what he's seeing, but he's had to pause the game multiple times. I'm not entirely sure what exactly is going on. I think so he must see another problem with the Gales serving lineup.
Illegal alignment called on the Gales. Point, Bulldogs.
So I'm not exactly sure what this bottom official is seeing, but this is the second time he's called a lineup problem with the Gales. So the point is going to go in favor of Algona. It's going to turn this into a 16-7 game instead. Tora Solbach will be going back to serve, and they'll get a few substitutions on the floor for Algona. Kaylee Carroll's going to check in, and Ellie Lawaji's going to check out.
In the Bulldog lineup, number 16, Kaylee Carroll. Solbach to serve.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what this bottom official is seeing, but that's the second time the Gales have been called with an illegal formation. Picked up that time to be set up by Clark. Miracle fires to be picked up by Anderson. Solbach collects, tapped on over, and they're going to say this one hit the post. So this point will go to the Gales. Good effort on the return by Elsbecker. So back to serve will be Kirsten Clark. Clark, 22 ace serves, 88% accuracy, as that's picked up by Solbach. To be tapped on over, this time by Anderson. Set up by Clark and shot over by Neverman. Back to Solbach. Set up that time by Carroll. Fired a good spiraling, kind of a bit of a curve on that one by Elsbecker.
Timeout.
And it's going to be a timeout on the floor for the Gales. turns this game into 17-8. Now, again, I'm not entirely sure what this other official is seeing with the illegal formations, substitutions, or other thing. It's not that the Gales don't have enough people on their bench, because they do have a few substitutes for their rosters, but for some reason he's seeing they're kind of doing something that they're not supposed to be doing as far as who's supposed to be serving or who's supposed to be where on the court. But apparently that's been struck twice now for the Gales, so it's 2 unnecessary points that they've kind of ventured on over for Algona. But nevertheless, Algona will still continue a strong 17-8 lead, as back to serve will be Emma Elsbecker for Algona. Etherington will check in, and Anderson will check out now for Algona. Goes back up for Elsbecker, now to serve. That's going to be picked up by Kruthoff. Set up guy Clark, tapped over by Miracle. Picked up that time by Anderson, tapped over. Solbach tried to collect, and it's going to be a tap point for Neverman. Gales will pick up a point, makes this 17-9, so Neverman's going to take it back to serve. Neverman serves, that time picked up by Elsbecker, almost launches that one over the net. I think that's what Solbach is waiting for, but she kind of missed that one just a tad bit. Turns this 17-10. Neverman serves again. Picked up that time by Rochlow to be set up by Solbach. Shot on over by Etherington, back to Neverman. Over now to Clark and now to Anderson. Anderson's going to pick up a kill there. Rochlow tried to dig in there and get it herself, just outside of her diving arms. Turns this into a 17-11 game here in set number 1. Served by Neverman. And they're going to say illegal alignment on Algona this time.
Illegal alignment on the Bulldogs, point Gales.
Again, I'm not sure what this bottom official is seeing, but they're calling illegal alignment this time on Algona. So now be 17-12. This one by Neverman. Picked up by Carroll, launched over by Etherington to be set up. Shot over by Clark and fired outside the diving arms of Rochlow. Anderson will pick up the kill.
Timeout. Bulldogs, their first team timeout.
Algona's going to head to take a timeout on this one. I think that bottom official is trying to explain what he's been seeing with the scoring table down there as far as all of these illegal alignments and everything. Again, I'm not 100% sure as to how all of that works exactly. I understand that the players can only be out there for a certain amount of sets and everything, and they're, as far as the rotation goes, the rotation has to be a certain way. But as far as what I'm seeing, I'm not 100% sure as to how how that all works out, at least as far as what the bottom official is seeing. But nevertheless, it's not completely one-sided, as he's been seeing that happen on both sides. So back to serve will be Neverman to continue for the Gales. She'll shoot this one up, and that'll go out of bounds. Point for Algona.
Serving here, point Bulldogs. Perry in the Bulldog lineup. Rochlow
18-13. Rochlow's now going to go back to serve for Algona. She'll shoot this one up, and it'll be picked up by McLean to be set up by Clark. Fakeroo by Miracle, and killed by Kruthoff. Gales are going to pick up an easy return on that point, so it's going to be Miracle back to serve now.
Ingalls in the Gales lineup. Miracle to serve.
Miracle serves, picked up that time by Etherington to Elsbecker. Perry returns, slapped on up, set up by Clark, returned by Neverman, tapped by Perry, thrown over by Solbach, back to Neverman, over now to Clark, tapped on over, this time by Kruthoff. Solbach and Perry returns, that time by Anderson, Back to Clark. Anderson returns fire. Block is a little unsuccessful. Diving Solbach. And the dig is no good. Turns this 18-15 now. Point there for the Gales. Miracle to serve once more. Thought it was going out, but it just ticks a little bit in there. So Miracle pick up an ace serve in front of the feet of Emma Ellsbecker. 18-16 now. Bulldogs still retain a lead. Miracle serves this one up. That goes off the hands of Rochlow. Another ace serve for Miracle.
In the Bulldog lineup, number 15, Maddie Hilbert.
Maddie Hilbert's going to check in, and Emma Ellsbeck is going to check out. Miracle to serve again. Picked up that time by Hilbert. Now to Solbach and shot over by Etherington. Etherington picks up a good kill there. Back to the back to square one now for the Bulldogs.
Number 7, Lawaji.
Ellie Lawaji now. She's going to check in, and it's going to be Kaylee Carroll to check out. Lawaji to serve. 19-17, picked up by Newman. Over now to Clark, tapped on over, that time by Ingles. To Lawaji, fired by Etherington. Awkward placement off the hands of Anderson. So Etherington picks up another kill on the night for her, turns this into 19-17. Sorry, 2017. Shot over by Lawaji, picked up by Anderson, set up by Clark, shot on over. Way too much power on that one by Casey Kruthoff.
By Kruthoff, point Gales.
They're going to say a kill on that one. I thought she put a bit too much. Oh, it must have hit the hands off of a player. Turns this 2018, back to serve Kruthoff. She'll serve this one into the net. Turn that into a serving error. Back to serve this time will be Etherington. Etherington fires, and it's tried to play that one a little close to the far side. It's going to go out of bounds.
In the Bulldog lineup, number 8,
Bulldogs
Delaney
make a quick
Anderson.
change. Anderson in, Etherington out.
Aaliyah Anderson to serve for the Gales.
Anderson serves up, collected by Perry to Lawaji. Perry winds and fires. Dig is no good in the backfield there by Anderson.
Bulldogs.
Turns this
In the
22-19.
Bulldog lineup, Perry to serve.
Chase subs in, Rochlow checks out. Layla Perry now to serve.
Serving error,
Tried to
point.
kiss the net a little bit, but it's going to go inside the net. Turns this 22-20.
In the Bulldog lineup.
Back to serve Maya McLean now for
McLean to
the
serve.
Gales of St. Edmond. She'll serve this one up. Hit the line, and she played that a little close there. Hit the line, but a serve for McLean. 22-21 now. Timeout on the floor for Algona. They saw a huge lead rapidly fade away as it's now a close nail biter here in set number 1. Of course, both of these teams trying to end a losing streak. Algona trying to snap a 4-game losing streak since coming back from their COVID sort of temporary hiatus, and a 3-game losing streak for the Gales. Of course, both of them sitting at 1-4 in the North Central standings. Be real nice to go ahead and pick up another one of those to make things a little bit better for them in the North Central standings. We kind of wait the last few seconds now. Wait for everybody to kind of get things going. Back to serve Maya McLean for the Gales. McLean serves it up. That goes off the hands of Hilbert and returned on over, that time by Chase. Set up by Clark, return fire and picked up by Solbach. To Lawaji, Chase tips it, right over the block. Dig is successful. Picked up by Rochlow, back to Lawaji, and thrown over by Hilbert. Dig is good there by Neverman. Launched on over and collected by Rochlow to Lawaji. Tipped, and they're going to say a net violation.
Net violation.
That goes point
Gales.
to the Gales. They've gone and tied it up at 22 points apiece here in set number 1. McLean to serve. Dug in by Anderson. A serve for Kale. They take the first lead in this game, although relatively late. 23-22 as it's getting closer and closer to the first completion of set number 1. McLean serves this one up. Picked up that time by Elsbecker. Tapped on over by Lawaji to McLean by Clark. Neverman back to Lawaji to Solbach. Tapped it on over. Dug on the inside by McLean. Miscommunication on the side of the Gales. We're all tied back up at 23 apiece.
16, Carroll. Solbach to serve.
Tora Solbach now to serve. Fires this one up. Picked up by Anderson. Over now to McLean and returned on over by Miracle. Picked up by Anderson. Now to Solbach and shot over by Elsbecker with a campfire on the side. That time of the Gales, 24-23. Now, campfire is when all the players just kind of stand around in a circle and watch the balls drop in front of them. This time by Clark. Miracle shoots. Picked up by Rochlow to Solbach. Tapped on over. Squeaked it inside the line. That's a kill. That time by Kaylee Carroll. And they're going to say a point for the Gales. I think they said a net violation.
Clark to serve.
Clark serves, picks up by Rochlow. Now on over to off to the Gales side there. Lost my train of thought. Miracle taps it on over, picked up by Carroll, and fired on over by Elsbecker to Neverman. Set up by Clark. Neverman fires. Block is good. And we're all tied up here at we're tied up at 24 apiece, headed on into the deuce. Now the advantage goes into the hands of the Gales.
Clark serving for the set.
Clark serves, picked up by Anderson, on outside, and returned, but that's a bit too much. And the Gales will take set number 1 with a score of 26-24. That's going to do it for set number 1. When we come back, we'll have set number 2 for you. You're listening to Algona Bulldog Volleyball on KLGA.
Riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone. I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone. We go smooth in the front, two in the back, saving the love, till we don't look back.
With the first set in the books, it's 26-24 in favor of St. Edmond. They'll take set number 1 as we head into set number 2. Pretty good crowd on hand here for tonight, especially in the student section, as looks like tonight is jersey night. Quite a few students in the stands wearing their favorite NFL, NBA, and MLB jerseys. So good to see some unification and participation from the students here. Also nice to see all the students coming out and supporting the Bulldogs, especially here on senior night for the girls, as we go ahead and head into set number 2. Of course, St. Edmond took the first set 26-24. Very interesting points were given away, as far as a couple of interesting line rotations, which cost the points on both sides. So hopefully we'll be able to not see those. Interesting enough. I think they're trying to, they tried during this break to make sure that the rotations on both of the sides were made permanent, as far as where everybody's located, so we don't have any unnecessary changes as far as how everything's supposed to go. So now that everything's all figured out with who's supposed to be on the floor from the bottom official, as he was the one who pointed out a lot of the mistakes in the first set. Kirsten Clark, she's going to go ahead and start off the serving for set number 2 for the Gales. Picked up by Elsbecker, tipped on over and fired. That's going to be a good point in there by Alexa Chase.
Bulldogs.
Bulldogs will take the first point here in set number 2. Back to serve will be Emma Elsbecker.
Elsbecker to serve.
Elsbecker serves this one up, picked up by Neverman, over to Clark, shot by Anderson, off the hands of Elsbecker. That's a bit of a barrel roll, but it goes off of her hand into the out of bounds, ties this back up at 1.
Neverman to serve.
Neverman will go back to serve now for the Gales. Serves this up, picked up by Elsbecker to Lawaji. Shot on over, tip is good. And the block will be unsuccessful, as that's another point there for Algona. Carroll's going to pick up that point, and Rochlo will now serve for Algona as they make this a 2-1 game here in set number 2. Rochlo to serve over to Neverman now. Anderson tips it over the block. Picked up by Lawaji. Now to Rochlo. Returned by Etherington. Goes off the hands. That time with Kruthoff. Kill goes to Etherington. Turns this 3-1 now. Bulldogs see a lot of points in this game so far. Of course, when Rochlo has been serving. Rochlo serves this one up again, picked up by McLean. Set up that time by Clark. Neverman taps it on over. Dug on in by Lawaji. Set that one up by Etherington. Goes into the net off of a soft little flutter shot by Kaylee Carroll. And they'll pick up a point now for the Gales. Turns this 3-2. Miracle now. She's going to go back to serve. Serves this one over. Picked up by Elsbecker. Tapped up by Lawaji. Kind of a change-up, fake-up there by Perry, but her jump was a little bit off balance, so she missed it almost completely, brushed it with her fingertips, and it goes on down, ties this back up at 3. Miracle serves this one up, tapped up by Etherington to Lawaji, slapped on down by Carroll, snuck it on inside. They're going to say it hit the back line. Everybody's a little upset with that one. 4-3 now for the Gales. Miracle serves this one. She put too much on it. We're tied all back up at 4. Back to serve, Kaylee Carroll.
Carroll to serve.
Carroll put just a bit too much on this one. Serving error for her. Makes this 5-4 now. Gales retake the lead. Casey Kruthoff will go in, and she'll serve now for the Gales. Picked up by Rochlow. It'll be tapped on over by Lawaji. Now to McLean. Back over to Clark. Neverman returns. Picked up by Anderson to Lawaji. Fired by Etherington. Dug in by Neverman. And into the scoring table it goes. Out of bounds.
Point, Bulldogs.
All tied up back at 5 apiece.
Etherington
5
to serve.
apiece. Etherington. She'll go back to serve. Etherington, 19 ace serves. 87% accuracy. Goes off the hands. That time
Ace serve,
of McLean.
point,
She'll pick up
Bulldogs.
another ace serve for her. Etherington to serve now in a 6-5 game here in set number 2. Very back and forth, unlike set number 1. Off the hands of McLean to be set up by Clark. Tapped over by Anderson. Now to Lawaji. Elsbecker fires off the hands of Neverman. Goes to McLean. Shot over by Anderson. Picked up by Anderson on our side. And returned by Elsbecker to McLean. Clark. Anderson tips off the hands of our Anderson. And it goes out of bounds.
Anderson to serve.
Anderson now to serve for the Gales as it's tied up at 6, but serving error turns this 7-6 in favor of the Bulldogs.
Chase in the Bulldog lineup. Perry to serve.
Perry serves, picked up by Anderson. Tap by Clark, shot by Neverman. Block is successful. That one by Alexa Chase.
Point, Bulldogs.
We're going to give Elsbecker credit on the assist with that block as well. Turns this 8-6. Perry back to serve for Algona. Set up by Kruthoff, now to Clark. Shot by Neverman, back by Perry. Picked up that time by Etherington to Anderson. That time by Engels. Anderson on our side picks it up, tapped on the other side. Dug in by McLean. Anderson to Lawaji. Shot by Clark. Perry with the dig. Back to Anderson and returned by Lawaji. Set up by Clark on the return. Engels fires. Block is good. They're going to say a net.
4 hits.
They're going to say 4 hits. I thought it was close. I thought it was a close net violation on the Bulldogs, but they're going to say 4 hits on the Gales. Turns this 9-6. Perry serves. Clark with the return. Neverman. She puts it just about outside. Now makes this 10-6. Quick timeout on the floor for the Gales. First timeout of the night for them. Of course, we're here in set number 2 as it is 10-6 in favor of the Bulldogs. Set number 2, very, very close, rather than what we saw in set number 1, as Algona took a very strong lead in set number 1, and that lead was quickly, rapidly vanished back towards the later part of set number 1. Ended up going into a deuce, and the Gales ended up picking up the first set, turning that 26-24. Back to continue to serve will be Perry. Perry goes up and fires, picked up and returned by Neverman. Launched on over by McCain, and it's good. Set up by Lawaji. Winds and fired by Chase, and just goes into the net. Turns this into 10-7.
Rochlow in the Bulldog lineup. Miracle in the Gales lineup. McLean to serve.
So McLean's going to go back to serve now for the Gales. She'll fire this one up. Picked up that time by Etherington to Lawaji. Return fire by Elsbecker. Back to Clark. Neverman with the tap. She pushes that one out of bounds. They're going to say it went off the fingertips of the block of,
Point.
I think that was Ellie Lawaji there. Turns this to 10-8. Now to serve will be McLean again. Picked up by Anderson. Now to Etherington and returned by Elsbecker. That time by Anderson. Launched into the net by Clark. She thought she had it, but it didn't quite work out her favor. Now it makes it 11 to 8.
16, Kayla Carroll.
Kaylee Carroll will go in and Anderson will check out. Lawaji's going to go back now to serve for Algona. Picked up and dug by Anderson. Tried to be saved. That time off the hands of Clark. Bulldogs will pick up a point there. Makes it 12 to 8. Lawaji serves this one again. Picked up by Anderson. To be set up by Clark. Miracle fires. Goes off of the hands, that time of
Kill by
Carroll.
Miracle, point,
So
Gales.
Miracle picks up the kill, turns this 12 to 9. Back to serve is Clark.
Clark to serve.
Clark serves. That one picked up by Rochlow. High ball to Lawaji. Fired there by Carroll. Tipped and returned. Just outside the diving hands of Etherington. So Kruthoff will pick up the kill for the Gales. Turns this 12 to 10. Clark will go back to serve. Clark serves. They're going to say a point. They're going to say illegal switch. So they're going to call another one of those shift-changing fouls or points or penalties or whatever they are on the Gales. So this point will go into the favor of Algona.
A rotation point, Bulldogs.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how the whole out-of-rotation thing works, but this bottom official has seen multiple ones of these this game so far. Then back to serve now will be Elsbecker for Algona, as it's now 13 to 10. Algona still takes the lead. Dug in by Neverman, a tap. Dig a little unsuccessful there. They're going to say 2 hits, although it did end up going into the net. 14 to 10. Algona still takes the lead. Shot up and picked up by Anderson to Clark. Fired by Kruthoff. Lawaji. Shot and collected. Set up by Kruthoff and returned by Miracle. Goes off of the head of Etherington. Just kind of slipped through her fingers there.
Gales.
Gales will pick up the point, 14 to 11 now.
Neverman to serve.
Everman's going to serve, this time for St. Edmond. Dug in by Rochlow and tried to return the dig. Over there by Chase.
Serve point, Gales.
Gales will go ahead and pick up another point off the ace serve. Turns this 14 to 12. Neverman serves this one again off of Elsbecker. Almost went over the net. They're going to call a lift.
Lift, point,
That time off the hands of Maddie Hilbert. Sorry, that's not Hilbert. That was Kaylee Carroll. As I think they just thought the play was a little dead, but you got to play till the whistle's blown. Pulled it on a lift. Neverman picked up by Rochlow, tapped and fired. That's going to be killed there by Kaylee Carroll. Set up there by Ellie Lawaji is good. Turns this 15 to 13 in favor of Algona. Rochlow is going to go back to serve. Rochlow fires this one into the net. Service error. 15 to 14 now. Again, set number 2, very, very unlike set number 1, as it's been a very big back and forth game. Miracle goes back to serve now. Picked up by Rochlow to be set up by Lawaji. Fired by Carroll. Block is unsuccessful.
Carroll, point, Bulldogs.
And a point will go to the Bulldogs.
Carroll to serve.
Carroll's going to go back to serve now as it's 16-14 in favor of the Bulldogs. Picked up by Neverman. Now to McCain. And return fire by Elsbecker to be set up by Lawaji. Perry winds and fires, puts a bit too much on that one.
Point.
And it's going to go out of
Gales.
bounds.
Bulldog lineup number 8, Anderson.
Anderson's going to check in, and
Krutov
Carroll's going to check
to serve.
out for Algona. Back to serve is Krutov. Krutov fires, picked up by Rochlo, set up by Lawaji, dug in by McLean, tipped on over by Engel, back to Rochlo, and returned by Perry to Anderson. Anderson tips, picked up by Anderson. Anderson with another tip off of the hands of our Anderson that time.
Gales.
And we're all tied up here at 16 apiece. Licked off the net, but picked up by Rochlo. Set up that time by Lawaji. Fired, but way too much off the hands of Edmonton. Makes this 17-16. Gales will take a
Timeout,
lead.
Bulldogs.
Bulldogs will take a quick timeout on the floor, as it has been a huge back and forth game here in set number 2. Of course, this weekend, Algona will be hosting a tournament this Saturday. They'll be taking on Mason City, Lake Mills, and Forest City this Saturday, with that tournament to begin at 9 a.m. So if you haven't made it down to the game here tonight, then you got a huge whole tournament to watch for you here at Algona High School. So be sure to go ahead and check out that game, as it's close to wrapping up the end of the season here for the Bulldogs before they go ahead and take on Humboldt High School. They'll be away at Humboldt for the first round of the playoffs. That game will be going on Monday with game time set for 7 p.m. Brian Wilson will have the call for you on that game on KLGA, as we'll give you playoff volleyball action. Always an exciting time, as we have playoff football action this Friday and playoff volleyball action on Monday. It's that time of year, folks. Back to serve is Krutov. Picked up by Rochlo. Goes way into the bleachers.
Point, Gales.
Ace serve for the Gales. Turns this 18-16. They're going to do a quick pause to get a little hand sanitizer on her hands. I think she got a little bit too much. Just trying to get all the excess off. Shot up, licks the net, that time by Perry, collects it, and returned by Elsbecker to Anderson. Set up by Clark, tipped on over by Ingles, and she'll find some empty ground, and it's 19-16. Picked on up by Krutov to Elsbecker, and tapped on over by Perry. Perry will find some good ground there, good tap, and point will go to the Bulldogs. Turns this 19-17 now, goes back to serve for the Bulldogs will be Etherington. Etherington, 19 ace serves going into this game. 87% accuracy, but too much on that one. Serving error goes into the hands of the Gales, turns this 20-17.
Anderson to serve.
Leah Anderson. She'll serve for the Gales. Be picked up by Delaney Anderson for Algona. Slapped by Perry, but the dig is successful and launched over by Anderson to be picked up by Anderson. Anderson collects to Lawaji. Perry winds and fires, and she'll go ahead and pick up the kill there. 20-18 in favor of the Gales. But Alayla Perry's going to go back to the serve for the Bulldogs. Keeping things nice and close all night tonight. Again, both teams looking for a win, coming off of a couple losing streaks going into this game, as this one's picked up by Krutov and returned over by McLean, as that one will go out of bounds. 20-19 in favor of the Bulldogs, as that one goes out of bounds. Perry serves, picked up by Anderson, over to Clark, and a little miscommunication, and someone will go into the floor. Tie it all back up here at 20 here in set number 2. Perry serves again, picked up by Anderson. Now to Clark, tapped over by Neverman to Anderson. Now to Lawaji. Perry winds and fires to McLean. To Clark, Neverman returns. Perry collects. Lawaji saves, and Perry will return in play to Engels. Now to Clark, to Neverman. Anderson. Lawaji tipped on over. Squeaks on the line, but they're going to say it's going to be out of bounds. Tip there from Alexa Chase, just a tad bit unsuccessful.
In the Bulldog lineup.
It was a good play, good smart play. Tried to really squeak it on inside the line there. Of course, the student section was a little unhappy with that one, but 21-20, Gales retake the lead. McLean to serve, picked up by Anderson. Lawaji, and Chase fires. Dug in by Anderson to Clark. And returned by Neverman, picked up by Anderson now. Lawaji fired by Clark. She'll find some good common ground there. That time she got what she was looking for, playing the line on that side. Ties this back up at 21.
Number 16, Kaylee Carroll.
Ellie Lawaji, she'll go back now to serve for Algona as things are spicy right now. It's tied all up here at 21. Lawaji serves, picked up by McLean. Set up by Clark, returned by Neverman. Back to Etherington, over to Lawaji, and fired that time by Carroll. Clark, and McLean calls for it. Picked up by Rochlow, over to Lawaji, tapped on over, that time by Chase, be picked up by Krutov. Miracle taps, dug in by Lawaji, saved, and launched on over. Excellent save recovery by Rochlow. Tapped on over, that's going to be picked up. Lawaji sets things up, and Rochlow calms things down, throws it on over McLean to Clark, tapped, dug in, unsuccessful by Lawaji. Great excellent play by Rochlow to kind of replay how things are going, but ultimately it's going to be the kill that goes to Krutov for the Gales, 22-21. Clark, she'll serve, and they're going to say a point for Algona. As they're going to say another one of those weird out of rotation things. They're trying to argue the case on the floor.
Elsbecker to serve.
Elsbecker's going to go ahead and serve for this one. Another one of those out of rotation calls. This time on the Gales. Ties this back up at 22. Elsbecker serves. Set up by Neverman, dug on inside, but miscommunication is going to put this one to bed. 23-20 for the Bulldogs. They'll retake the lead here late in set number 2. Elsbecker serves. This one picked up by Anderson, set up by Clark. Anderson returns, picked up by Lawaji. Carroll, tapped on over by Chase. Back to Neverman, to Clark. Miracle taps this one over, back to Carroll. Lawaji sets things up. Etherington fires, back to McLean. Over to Clark, tips it, and they're going to say a lift. Two hits. Thought I saw a lift, but they're going to say 2 hits. Bulldogs take the set point here. Gales are going to take a timeout. 24-22, things get real spicy here in set number 2. Very good play defensively by both Rochlow, Lawaji, just about everybody on Algona's side, as I can't believe what I'm seeing, as everything kind of looked lost as far as the ball was going to go deep inside the student section. But Rochlow went in and dug everything out, and miraculously she put the ball back in play without having it interfere with the poles on the net. And it was a great successful defensive play. If you guys could have seen it, it would have been fantastic, but the best I can do is just kind of describe to you what happened. And, you know, here I am thinking we can have a replay cam going on, but, you know, if you could watch it, you could. And, in fact, you can. You can watch it over on Algona's multimedia page there. they've got the game live streamed on their YouTube channel. So maybe if you were watching the game on there, you could see it. I'm not sure if they were able to pick up that footage. I know it was a lot to watch there to see kind of what was going on. But if they did manage to get that credit, absolutely great. Definitely one for the highlight reel. So as the bottom official is trying to explain to the Gales head coach and both to the players on how to kind of stop these rotation fouls. I think that was the purpose of that timeout, as Elsbecker serves, picked up by Anderson to McLean, and returned on over, this time by Kuthroff. Rochlow to Lawaji. Block is good, picked up by Carroll to Rochlow, and tapped on over by Chase. Set up by Clark. Anderson tips it on over to Lawaji. Set up by Carroll, fired by Chase off the block. Neverman digs in there to McLean now, and returned by Miracle. Back to Elsbecker to Lawaji. Elsbecker fires outside the reach. That time off of Houston Clark. Set number 1. This one will go into the hands of the Bulldogs. 25-22. We're all tied up here in set number 2. We're tied at 1-1. You're listening to Algona Bulldogs Volleyball on KLGA. We're headed now into set number 3 here at Algona High School. Everything tied up at 1 set apiece. Algona with some strong defensive play as they're able to clear up and pick up set number 2, all in favor of them. Of course, St. Edmond picked up set number 1, 26-24, and Algona will complete set number 2, scoring 25-22. So things getting spicier and spicier as the action continues as we head here into set number 3. Of course, the officials still trying to explain to the Gales squad about how the whole rotation thing works, as the bottom official has been seeing a lot of that on their side. It's cost them quite a few points here so far in the game. Not entirely for certain as to what exactly it is, or as far as what the whole, I guess you could say, foul is for what's going on, but they've been explaining it to the players. They've been explaining about where everybody's supposed to be located. Quite interesting as far as how everything's going. Then they're going to make sure that Algona also gets everything all figured out for them, so they don't have any problems there. But then again, I mean, the officials, they see things that the average person does not. We'll go ahead and wait for everything to get officially set up here. Looks like everything is all set to go. So starting out with serving for set number 3 will be Algona. Back to serve is Ellie Lawaji. Waiting for the AOK. And she'll get it. So Lawaji will go back to serve now. Serves this one up, picked up by Anderson. Now to Clark. Tapped on over by Neverman to be dug in there by Lawaji. Then to Carroll, tapped over by Elsbecker. And that'll go off the hands that time of Clark. So Emma Elsbecker is going to pick up a sort of kill, I guess you could say, as it goes off the fingertips of Clark. 1-0 now. Bulldogs taking the lead here in set number 3. Anderson collects off the serve to be picked up by Clark. Miracle with the dig on the serve, but she puts just a bit too much on it as that's going to go out of bounds. 2-0 now in favor of the Dogs. Lawaji serves this one, and she'll pick up the ace as McLean tried to dive on in there and get it, but she's going to miss on this one. Ace serve for Lawaji makes this 3-0. She'll serve this one up again. Anderson collects over to Clark. Miracle, and they're going to call a 2-hit on that time off the Gales. So another point for the Bulldogs. They'll take a 4-0 lead here in set number 3. Lawaji winds and fires, picked up that time by Anderson. Clark sets it up. Neverman puts too much on it. That goes out of bounds. 5-0.
Bulldogs.
Lawaji continuing to serve. She'll serve this one up to be picked up again by Anderson. Clark then returned by Neverman. Punched in the sky and picked up off the hands of Clark. Miracle returns into the net.
Bulldogs.
Bulldogs will pick up another point, turns this 6-0. Try to squeak in a substitution for the Gales.
Lineup number 6, and Allstott.
Allstott steps into the game for the first time. Served by Lawaji, be picked up by Anderson again. Set up by Clark. Allstott tips it off the hands of Lawaji. Washlow settles it down. Perry returns. Outside the diving hands of Anderson. Another point for the Bulldogs. They'll take a 7-0 run, keeping things going. Lawaji serves, this time picked up by McLean. Set up by Clark. Allstott tips it over the block. Picked up by just a good play there. It was picked up by Etherington and wined and fired by Perry. Good solid spike on that one. Makes it 8-0. Keep the train rolling. Lawaji serves. Anderson collects over now to Clark. Shot over and dug in by Lawaji. Set up by Carroll. They're going to say 2 hits on Algona.
Point, Gales.
So Gales shut down an 8-0 run. Turns this into 8-1. Clark to serve for the Gales. Dug on in and barely squeaked over the net. That's a great dig.
There's fresh
I
pizza
believe
in the concession stand.
I believe that dig was off of Lillian Etherington
And the Bulldog
as
lineup, number
it
12,
barely jumped on over the
Edmond.
net. Just like I used to say, it's one of those classy
Elsbecker
ping
to
pong
serve.
moves where you just kind of get enough spin on the net to confuse the opponent, and it dribbled on over. 9-1 now with Elsbecker to serve. She'll pick up an ace.
Serve point, Bulldogs.
So Emma Elsbecker will pick up an ace serve, turns this into 10-1 here in set number 3. Of course, set number 3 looking a lot like set number 1, with Algona taking another huge lead. Krutoff winds and fires. That goes out of bounds.
Bulldogs.
Makes this 11-1. Emma Elsbecker goes back to serve again for Algona. Picked up that time by Anderson. Set up by Clark. Fired And way out of bounds off the hands of Alstott.
Bulldogs.
12-1 for the Bulldogs. Alstott will go ahead and collect this one as Krutov fires. This one set up by Lawaji, returned by Etherington. And she'll push this one into the net. Makes this 12-2. So going back to serve is going to be Neverman. Neverman serves. Just goes in front of the hands of Rochlow, and it's going to be a point for the Gales. Twelve to 3, back to serve. Into the net, serving error. That one goes into the net for that one. 13-3, the Bulldogs will pick up another point.
Chase in the Bulldog lineup.
So Chase,
Rochlow to serve.
she'll go ahead and go back to serve. No, she's not. This is going to be Rochlow. Rochlow now to serve. Picked up by McLean to Clark. Tapped on over by Krutov to Carroll. And Clark collects. Set up by Krutov. Alstott. Back to Carroll. Lawaji. And over return by Chase. Back to Neverman. Clark. And shot by Anderson. Block is unsuccessful. That point will go to the Gales.
Point, Gales.
13-4, back to serve. This time it's going to be for McLean. So the serve for McLean is going to be off the hands of Etherington. Ace serve for McLean. Turns this into 13-5. McLean serves again, picked up by Etherington, set up by Lawaji, smacked on down, and the dig is a little unsuccessful as that goes into the net. That's going to be a kill there for Alexa Chase. Chase going into this game with 73 kills on the season so far.
Hilbert to serve.
Maddie Hilbert's going to go back now to serve as is 14-5 in favor of the Bulldogs here in set number 3. Hilbert fires, picked up by McLean, set up by Clark, and tapped on over by, that time by Krutov. Squeaks it onto the inside line, 14-6.
Krutov to serve.
Krutov's going to go back to serve now. This time for the Gales as it's 14-6. Picked up by Elsbecker, tapped on over by Lawaji, dug in by McLean. Lawaji sets things up again. That time again set up and fired. Chase put a bit too much on that one. And it's going to be the Gales with another point. 14-7. Lead now cut in half. Krutov goes back to serve again. Picked up by Elsbecker, tapped by Lawaji. Block is good. That's a good successful block by Leia Anderson for the Gales. Turns this into 14-8. Lawaji trying to be a little sneaky there, just didn't quite work out. 14-8, Krutov to serve, picked up by Rochlow. Lawaji trying to set things up again. Chase fires, goes right in front, and that's going to be a good kill. Lands in front of Neverman. Kill goes to Alexa Chase.
Lineup number 2, Lily Elsbecker. Etherington to serve.
So the Elsbeckers will trade places. Lily Elsbecker now in the game. 15-8. Back to serve. Etherington tapped, winds and fires. Picked up by Hilbert to Lawaji. Elsbecker fires off the hands of Neverman. Back to Krutov. Clark returns. Set up again and tipped by Chase. She just didn't put too much on. She didn't quite put enough on that one. She wanted to be real sneaky with the tip. However, the tip failed to go in front of on the other side of the net there. 15-9. Little mental mistake. It's okay. Serve is good by Anderson. Hilbert collects, tapped on over by Lawaji. Clark to set things up. Krutoff fires into the net, and it is a point for the Bulldogs. 16-9 now. Perry's going to check in. Rochlow to check out.
Chase to serve.
Alexa Chase, she's going to go back to serve. Chase serves this one, picked up by Anderson, tipped by Ingalls. Now to Lawaji. Tipped by Clark. Bad little miscommunication.
Bulldogs.
You're whistling something out there, but the point's going to go to the Bulldogs. 17-9. Set up by Krutoff. But that bad pass goes into the net. A serve. That time for Alexa Chase. 18-9. Chase serves this one up. And it's going to be set up by McLean. Launched by Neverman. Bit of a bad pass off the hands of Chase. After that, she'll sub out, and in her place will be Rochlow. Neverman picks up the point, makes it 18-10. Substitution on the side for the Gales as well. Allstott's going to go in, and McLean's going to check out. Back to serve will be Engels. Engels goes up, and it's collected by Etherington to be set up by Lawaji. Perry winds and fires, picks up that one by Krutoff. Over to Clark, and Anderson will go. They're going to call 2 hits.
2 hits, point Bulldogs. Bulldog lineup number 16.
Carroll's going to check in for Maddie Hilbert.
Lawaji to serve.
19-10. Lawaji's going to go back to serve. Lawaji credited with starting an 8-0 run in the beginning of this set here. And she'll go back to save it again. Rochlow, can she do it twice? No, she can't do it twice. Tried to play around in the out-of-bounds area. She couldn't do it twice, so Thunder can't strike twice here. 19-11. Clark to serve for the Gales. That one off the hands of Lily Elsbecker. Slight miscommunication on the floor. 19-12 now. Algona still with a strong lead. Clark to serve again. This one, good communication. Elsbecker sets this one up. Perry winds and fires outside the diving hands of McLean. Perry with a strong cannon. She winds and fires.
Number 12, Emma Elsbecker.
As the Elsbeckers will go in and trade places. Now in the game will be Emma Elsbecker. She'll go back to serve.
Elsbecker to serve.
20-12. Bulldogs still on top here in set number 3. Dug on in and will go into the stands. A serve for Elsbecker. 21-12. That one went off the hands of Alea Anderson. Elsbecker fires to be picked up by McLean. Set up in play by Clark and Krutoff. Shot up by Elsbecker to be set up by Lawaji. Etherington taps it on over. Miscommunication on the side of the Gales, 22-12. Good kill there by Etherington. Shot up by Elsbecker. Tapped in by Clark. Krutoff. Backcourt for Rochlow to Lawaji. She acknowledged the bad pass, but it's good to go over. Clark sets this one up. And tapped on over. Etherington collects off the tap over. Lawaji. Etherington fires outside the outstretched arm of Clark. Another kill for Etherington. 23-12. Timeout on the floor. This one goes to the Gales of St. Edmond. A very strong.
Timeout Gales.
They're going to actually credit Elsbecker with the kill on that one. I thought I saw Etherington kill that one, but nevertheless, a good strong point there for the Bulldogs. Bulldogs playing extremely well here in set number 3, taking total command of this game as they now take a 23-12 lead here in set number 3. Of course, everything all tied up at 1 apiece, 1-1. as we await for the Gales to get back onto the floor.
The Gales lineup, number 10, Miracle.
Miracle's going to check in for Alstott. Elsbecker's going to continue to serve for the Bulldogs. Be picked up by McLean off the serve, set up by Clark. Launched outside the hands of Elsbecker. That kill will go to Kutov.
Point Gales.
23-14 now.
Neverman to serve.
Neverman's going to go back to serve here late in set number 3. That one picked up by Elsbecker, tipped by Lawaji, saved, almost no good. They're going to say a lift.
Point Gales.
They're going to say a lift by Perry as she tried to save it. 23-14. Neverman back to serve for the Gales. Picked up by Rochlow to be set up by Lawaji. Perry taps it over. Neverman launches this one out of bounds. And the point will go to the Bulldogs, 24-14. Set point for the Bulldogs.
The Bulldog lineup, number 6, Chase. Rochlow to serve.
Rochlow to serve with set point now here in set number 3. She'll go up and be collected by McLean. Clark to set things up. Anderson fires, goes out of bounds, and that's going to be set number 3 into the books for the Bulldogs. They'll take set number 3, 25-14. Algona takes the lead now 2-1. We'll have more Algona Bulldog volleyball action here for you on KLGA. Sets are in the book now here at Algona High School. It's Algona Bulldogs taking on the Gales of St. Edmond for some late regular season varsity volleyball action. Of course, with the playoffs beginning on Monday, trying to squeak out the rest of the end of the season, and we're doing just so tonight. It's been a tough road for the Algona Bulldogs since coming off of their COVID status hiatus. They've been on a 4-game losing streak, so they're definitely looking to pick up a win since coming off of COVID. Of course, the Gales also looking to come in and end their 3-game losing streak. So both teams looking for a win here tonight. They're both sitting at 1-4 in the North Central standings. So it'll be nice to pick up a couple more wins before the postseason begins on Monday. Of course, Algona with a tough test ahead of them on Mondays. They take on Humboldt. They'll be away at Humboldt High School, drawing a very tough opponent for round number 1. First set went to St. Edmond. They won that set 26-24. Second set goes to Algona. They tied it up, and they won 25-22. And the third set puts Algona into the lead 2-1 as they won that recent third set 25-14. And as we await to get things going, as far as the bottom official, making sure that everybody is set up in the way that they need to be, as we've had quite a few problems with that so far, mainly on the side of the Gales. It only happened once on the side for Algona, of course, he's making sure that everybody has the correct rotation as far as where everybody is supposed to go. As has definitely cost a few unnecessary points for the Gales here tonight. But the officials, they see things that the average person does not. And clearly the illegal rotation is something that they notice quite often. In Forest City to conclude the regular season with a huge old tournament there. Back to serve here in set number 4 will be Kirsten Clark for the Gales. Clark will set this one up, picked up that time by Etherington to Malaji, fired by Perry, and the dig is unsuccessful as it goes off the hands of Clark. And Perry collects point number 1 for the Bulldogs here in set number 4. Elsbecker's looking to trade places.
The Bulldog lineup, number 12, Emma
Lily will
Elsbecker.
check out and Emma will check
Elsbecker
in
to
as
serve.
Emma Elsbecker will go back to serve here in set number 4. Now going to take in a 1-0 lead as she'll serve this one up to be picked up by Anderson. Saved in play by Krutoff, and Miracle launches it over back to Elsbecker to Lawaji. Perry fires off the blocking hands, that time off of Krutoff, and 2-0 for the kill. Elsbecker back to serve for Algona. Elsbecker to Neverman, set up by Clark, tapped over by Neverman, but 4 hits.
Point, Bulldogs.
Will go on the side as Neverman kind of misjudged that third and last hit. She thought it was going to go over, but didn't quite do that. Turns it into 3-0. Elsbecker goes on up, collected by Neverman off the serve, over to Clark. Krutoff with a fake, but picked up by Lawaji. Set up that time by Carroll, and Rochlow with her serve return goes now to McCain. Neverman winds and fires, dug in by Rochlow. Set up by Lawaji to calm things down, but fired off the hands. That goes to Edmonton, and the kill is successful. A 4-0 lead for the Bulldogs here in set number 4. Elsbecker continues to serve as it's picked up by Neverman. Clark fired by Rochlow. I'm sorry, that was by Krutoff. Perry collects the block, makes it 5-0. Algona taking another huge lead, as just as they had did in both sets number 1 and set number 3. So they'll continue their strong domination here in set number 4. Picked up by Neverman. Clark, Krutoff puts too much on that one. 6-0 now for the Bulldogs. Elsbecker continues to serve, picked up by Neverman. Back to Clark, and it goes on over. Goes over the head of Etherington. I don't think she was quite ready for that one, as she thought it was going to stay on the other side of the net, but it just goes behind her head.
Neverman to serve.
Makes it 6-1. Neverman now to serve, this time for the Gales of St. Edmond. She'll launch this one up, kiss the net, picked up by Elsbecker, pushed on over by Perry to McLean. Clark sets this one up, Miracle, and Lawaji tried to dive in, but it goes off of her hand. Makes it 6-2, kill goes to Miracle. Neverman continues to serve. She'll fire this one up to be picked up by Rochlow. To Lawaji. Perry fires this one into the net, and it's going to be a point for the Gales. Turns this into 6-3, cutting the lead in half again. Neverman serves, kisses the net, dug in by Rochlow to be set up by Perry, fired on over by Carroll, finds a good open spot, and Carroll will point it back into the direction for the Bulldogs. 7-3 now
Chase.
with
in the
Perry
Bulldog
to go
lineup.
back to
Perry
serve.
to serve.
Perry goes in and serves, be picked up by Neverman. Set up this time by Clark, and a little miscommunication
Bulldogs.
that time by Miracle and by McLean. Of course, Miracle, I thought she was going to go ahead and set things up for number 2, but Miracle being an outside hitter, I guess she didn't want to go ahead and set things up. So 8-3 with Perry to serve. Goes off of the dig
serve
from
point,
Neverman,
Bulldogs.
and it's going to be an ace serve. That time for Perry. 9-3 now with the Bulldogs. Neverman collects to be set up by Clark. Miracle fires. Block is successful by
Point,
Chase.
Bulldogs.
And it's going to be now 10-3. Bulldogs taking full control here in set number 4. Perry puts this one up to be handled by Newman. And shot over by Anderson. Block is good, but dig is better. And returned up, set up by Lawaji. Over to Carroll. And they're going to say 4 hits. The 4 hits or 2 hits?
2 hits.
They're going to say 2
Point,
hits.
Gales. Ingalls in the Gales lineup. McLean to serve.
McLean goes back to serve. 10-4. Algona still on top over St. Edmond. She'll put this one up to be set up by Etherington, but a bad
Ace
pass
serve,
and an ace
point,
serve
Gales.
goes to McLean. McLean's had a couple of ace serves here tonight. Back to 10-5,
Roslow,
lead
Bulldog
cut in
lineup.
half again. McLean with the serve. This time Etherington, better pass. And tapped over by Carroll, picked up again by McLean to be set up by Clark. Anderson tips. Picked up by Etherington, set up by Lawaji. Chase over the, just tips it over the block, and there'll be a good point with a kill for Alexa Chase. Makes it 11-5.
Bulldog lineup number 15, Maddie Hilbert.
Hilbert's going to
serve.
take the place of Carroll. Hilbert's going to go back to serve now for Algona. Hilbert serves this one up, picked up by Krutov, and tapped on over by Neverman to be picked up by Elsbecker. Set up by Lawaji, fired by Etherington, and the block is unsuccessful
Kill by Etherington.
as Etherington picks up the good kill there. 12-5.
Bulldogs.
Still in favor of the Bulldogs. Hilbert goes back to serve yet again. Things looking good for the Bulldogs here in set number 4. Shot up by Hilbert to be collected by Neverman. Clark collects, and Krutov taps it on over. Goes off the hands of Chase.
Point, Gales.
Block is unsuccessful. Cuts the lead back in half again. 12-6.
Krutov to serve.
Krutov's going to go back to serve for the Gales. Roshlow collects and winds and fires by Chase. Picked up by McLean. Set up by Roshlow. Neverman. Saved in there by Elsbecker. Etherington rips it off the net. 13-6.
Bulldogs.
Kill for Etherington as she will also take possession of the
Etherington
serve.
to serve.
And the Elsbeckers are going to go trade
Lily
places.
Elsbecker.
Etherington puts a bit too much on
Serving
this
error.
one.
Point,
Serving
Gales.
error for her makes it 13-7. So back to serve is Anderson. She'll also put too much on that one, so back-to-back serving
error.
errors.
Point, Bulldogs. Perry in the Bulldog lineup.
And,
Roslow to serve.
Perry and Chase they nailed the chest bump this time on the substitution. Before it was a little awkward, but they nailed it this time. Roshlow goes back to serve, 14-7. McLean back to Clark, tipped on over. Ingalls picked up and saved by Perry, returned on over by Lawaji. Saved again by McLean to be set up by Clark with a bad pass. They're going to call 2 hits.
2 hits. Point, Bulldogs.
Bulldogs will collect the point on this one, makes it 15-7. Roshlow Collected by Kucherov, tapped on over by Clark. Perry, another tap, but she'll point this one out of bounds.
Point, Gales.
15-8.
Miracle in the Gales lineup.
Miracle to sub in
Ingles to
for
serve.
McLean, and Ingles will go back to serve for the Gales. Serves this one up, but goes into the net. Serving error.
Point, Bulldogs.
And it makes it 16-8.
McLean in the Gales lineup. The
Carroll
Bulldog
and
lineup.
Hilbert
Number
will trade
16,
places
Carroll.
now.
Lawanji to serve.
Ellie Lawaji. Team put up a lot of points when she was serving in those set 3 and 4. Clark to set one up, and Neverman. Lawaji with the save. Perry tips it on over. Collects by Terry again. Carroll back to McLean. Set up by Clark. Kucherov. Good tip and a block. That time by Perry.
Bulldogs.
So Perry with some good defensive work there turns it 17-8 in favor of the Bulldogs. Lawaji picked up by McLean to Clark. Fired, but way too much. That time off the hands of Anderson. Anderson trying to do some backcourt killing there. Turns it 18-8. And Lawaji, she'll fire this one on up. Picked up by Anderson to Clark. Miracle shoots this one on over. It's to be picked up by Elsbecker. Over to Lawaji. Elsbecker fires. Block is good. Lawaji saved in play. Back by Clark to Anderson. Miracle taps it on over to Rochlow. Out of Lawaji. Perry tips it over. Dig is good. Successful. Newman. And tapped on over by Kucherov to be picked up by Etherington. Lawaji taps it on over, and dig is unsuccessful there by McLean. Fantastic defensive and offensive play there. 19-8. Bulldogs will take the lead. Lawaji with the serve. Over to Clark, and picked up by Newman. Dug in by Rochlow. Lawaji to Perry. Picked up by McLean to be set up by Clark. Miracle taps it in there. Saved by Elsbecker. Lawaji sets things up and fired by Carroll. Outside the diving hands. That time of Anderson. 22-8. Playing very well with Lawaji at the serve. Anderson picks this one up again to Clark. Neverman taps it on over. Set up by Carroll. Bad pass off the hands of Lawaji. 22-9 shuts down a huge offensive run for Algona. So back to serve will be Clark for the Gales.
Clark to serve.
Clark will shoot this one up to be picked up by Rochlow. Almost tried to save inbounds by Carroll, but she ran into the scorer's table. 20-10 cuts the lead in half again. Clark serves this one up and picked up by Elsbecker to be saved by Lawaji and returned by Rochlow. Anderson back to Clark. Fake and Newman goes in. Block is unsuccessful by Carroll. 20-11. Point for the Gales. Clark goes back to serve again. Clark serves a shallow one into the net. 21-11 off the service error.
The Bulldog lineup, number 12.
Elsbeckers will go in and trade places. Elsbecker now to serve. This one, Emma Elsbecker. She'll go on up in there, and it'll be an ace serve for Emma Elsbecker. She's got a couple of those tonight. Doing excellent on the serving grid for her. 22-11. Algona well in control here in set number 4. Shot up by Elsbecker again, this time by Neverman. Set up by Clark and fired by Krutov. Block is successful, but the dig is also successful. Celebrated a little bit too early. And Etherington fires, hits the line, and they're going to say point goes into the favor of the Gales. Algona with a quick recovery as they celebrated way too early on the block because it was a fantastic dig. And it's going to be picked up by Rochlow, set up by Lawaji. Etherington fires off of the hands. They're going to say point for Algona.
Point,
I think that went off the hands of Krutov.
Lineup. Perry
23
to
to
serve.
12. Perry's going to serve. Newman to Krutov. Tapped on over by Clark to be set up. Lawaji returned over there by Chase. Krutov picked up by Elsbecker into the net and returned by Carroll. Picked up by Clark. Set up by McLean. Fired by Miracle to Lawaji. Returned and shot. Goes off the hand. That's one of those natural instincts there by Meberman.
Bulldogs.
And the kill's going to be credited on over to
Perry
Etherington.
serving for the game.
Perry's going to serve for the game here as Algona is leading 2-1, 24 to 12 here in set number 4. Perry, service error, 24.
Serving error, point, Gale.
Goes 24 to 13.
Rochlow in for the Bulldogs.
Back to serve, Maya McLean, 5'5" libero. She'll serve this one up to be picked up by Elsbecker. Set up in there by Lawaji. Shot up by Chase, but that's going to go out of bounds.
Point, Gale.
Tried to play the line on that one. 24 to 14. Game still on the line for Algona. They just need one more point. McLean fires this one up and puts too much on it, and that is the game. 25 to 14. Algona will take it 3 sets to 1.
Thanks for coming.
Great job by the girls tonight. Good, strong defensive play, good, strong offensive play, and they're going to snap a 4-game losing streak since